Shot City.
I'm coming home again.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, listeners of Radio Van 103.0, 103.1, soon to be. And this is our Friday night English speaking show, Homesick at Home, with Armen Petrossian.
And the lovely Ina MK.
Hello, Rafi.
How you doing, Ina?
Oh, I'm great. We had a little shot.
Yeah, feeling much better now,
yeah,
right?
Feeling much better and less nervous. Just a reminder that we have a page where you can listen and watch our previous episodes. Also, you can watch us live right now on www.radiovan.fm. And this Friday is quite special because we have another Petrossian in our studio. Rafi, why don't you introduce your own brother, please?
Well, thanks. You just took the mystery out of it. I was going to kind of bring it up a little bit. But yes, this is someone near and dear to me, someone very close, and not just in the proximal sense because he's sitting right across from me over here. But we have my brother in the studio, Armen Petrossian.
Hello, Armen.
Hey guys,
How are
thanks
you?
for having me. Good, thank
Do you like our red sofa?
your whole dig is very feng shui. It's very impressive.
Yeah, isn't it? It's very
It's
colorful,
nice.
right?
Yeah. I like the Asian theme across the wall with the stones and the leaves and the red.
We are an international radio.
Yeah. And Asian, according to some people. You know, also, we have to mention that we are no longer 103.0, but we will soon be transitioning over to 103.1. And, Ina, can you explain why is it that we're doing this?
Yeah, this is the story. So we have a lot of complainers about having 103.0 because there are a lot of cars that come from America here to Armenia, and they cannot they don't have this, they cannot listen to us in the cars.
Yeah, the dial on the American car does not reach 103.0.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It just skips it altogether.
Yeah, it does. So finally, eventually, after all these 18 years, we have decided. We have made a decision. So soon, from the 20th of March, starting from 20th of March, we're gonna start advertising ourselves as 103.1.
Yes, number one, right?
In Yerevan.
Before we get started, though, how you doing? What's up? What's new?
Oh, I'm still, remember I mentioned that I'm learning design. I'm taking design lessons.
Yes.
Graphic design.
Yes.
So it keeps, I keep taking these lessons and I really enjoy them. So I'm looking forward to getting some jobs pretty soon.
You're not going to leave us, are you?
No way. You remember Radio One is a home.
All right, good.
Yeah, so this is pretty much what I'm concentrated on at the moment.
Very nice.
What about you?
What have I done? I actually left Yerevan recently. I feel like I've been in Yerevan for the entire winter, and everyone tells me that once you get outside of Yerevan that it's sunny, it's nice, and today for the first time I was able to experience that. Drove out there, I went out to Aragyur, and they had like some snow that came down the night previous, and so it was a beautiful scenery, and the sun was shining, and it was so nice, really refreshing.
So we have the sun eventually here, and you left Yerevan?
Yeah, I guess I did,
Rafijan, it's time to speak with our guest.
All right.
But really short because we're gonna have an advertisement break. So why are you in Armenia? Can you make it short?
Here's a big long question. We'll make it short because
Yeah.
we gotta. Okay, why am I in Armenia? I'm doing the Birthright program, and the reason I chose to do the Birthright program is because I saw these great pictures that Rafi's posted all over Facebook, heard of all of the adventures that he's had.
They're all photoshopped, by
Yes.
the way.
I saw some. And I thought, that looks interesting, number one. But more importantly, to be honest, because this is what it's about, right? It's about honesty.
Please.
More importantly, I love my brother. I wanted to come see my brother and spend some time with my brother. Yeah. So that was probably the major reason why I came to Yerevan.
More about the brotherhood and love after we come back. This is Homesick at Home, Friday night English speaking show. Stay tuned. So it's all about love eventually.
Yeah,
Armen, we stopped on a place where you were saying that you love your brother.
Yeah, just please go on. You've got an hour, so
Keep going.
expand on that idea.
More details.
About how I love my brother? Okay, let's say this. Rafi and I, we haven't seen each other in, let's say, approximately 4 years.
Yeah, it's been about 4
Wow.
years.
I've been on cruise ships for about 8 years. So in that time, that 8 years that I've been there, I've seen my brother very little. I've seen my family very little, to be honest. And as you start to get older, I guess this goes with the whole homesick theme. As you start to get older, you realize what's most important to you in your life.
The blood. The call of blood.
I say friends and family. Friends number one. Family. No. No. Your friends and your family, and you realize that it's a two-way street with all relationships, especially the older you get. You have to put time and effort into showing the people who are important to you in your life how important they are. So for me, it was coming out here to see Rafi in Yerevan. Now, of course, I want to see Yerevan. I want to experience it because this will go into the whole theme. I want to find. I'm deviating. I'm sorry.
No,
I want
please
to find,
go ahead.
I want to find a place to live in that has a European lifestyle, European feel to the city, but developing world prices.
Wow. That's a fusion.
and delicious kebab. Those are the three main things. So
Here you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you found that now? What do you think?
You want me to give it away now?
Well, now you brought. Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back to this
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
if we found the answer.
Yeah.
Is Rafi preparing a certain tour for you, Rafi John?
I took him to Artashimot.
I mean, over Armenia.
Oh, around Armenia. Actually, I think we're planning on going somewhere. I won't say where, but we're gonna go
surprise.
travel down. We're gonna go travel down south a little bit, and yeah, go and explore
Take
different.
him to Datev.
Datev. Yeah. Yes, we are gonna go to Datev.
Why
for
Datev?
sure.
Great. You'll see.
Okay.
It's majestic.
Yeah,
I-
it's
It was magical. for me.
Marvelous.
Can I say that? It was magical. Yeah.
All right.
What are the? Is there something you want to ask Rafi right here, right now, on air? Things that you thought of asking but you never did.
Let's come back to that question really quick. I've got another one here. I was just wondering. Armen, Armen, you said that friends and family are important to you.
Yeah.
What do you think? I've heard this the saying that friends are the family that you choose. Family is just given to you. But friends, you get to choose those people, and they can become your family, and it's out of choice. I mean, what do you think about that statement?
What do I think about that?
Yeah,
it's a
I mean,
true statement. Of course, it's a true statement. But there's something about family members that you don't choose them, but yet you still love them like no one else. There's something to be said about that.
Right.
There's a biological feeling that I have for some of my family members.
Is this a sense of obligation almost?
No, not even. In the beginning, it is. When you're told your entire life, listen, you gotta love your brother, you gotta love your cousin.
That's our dad speaking right now.
hello, Mr. Petrossian.
Our dad is a Jewish grandmother. Listen, Armen, you gotta love your brother. No, you're told, right? And when you're told something as a child, you rebel against that.
Sure.
But then when you come back to it later on in your life, you experience why it's important.
And you think, oh, my parents were right.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, we don't want to go that
Come
far.
on, give me another 10 years before I admit to that.
Yeah, Dad's not listening. We don't have to say that kind of stuff right now.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Never mind.
I want to say, but it has to do with your friends you choose, right? So it falls on you. The responsibility falls on you. Well, I chose you. I'm committed to you. But let's say with your brother, in our situation, I didn't choose you.
Thanks.
What is your situation?
What? Originally, I didn't choose you.
What are you guys speaking about? Can I go home?
What was your question again?
Did you feel home when you just arrived here in Armenia? Because you know why I'm asking this, because sometimes a lot of repats that come here, they say that, oh, as I stepped on the Armenian ground, I felt the air and this feeling that, oh,
Now they lied to you.
I'm home. Or,
Can I tell you a joke that somebody told me here?
Please.
Sure.
They said back in the 90s when it was a little rougher in Armenia, right?
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, the Armenians the diaspora or the repats would come off the plane. They would put their bags down. They'd put their hands in the air and say, God, I'm home, Armenia. They'd look down and their bags are gone.
Thank you.
He said that to me. I thought it was hilarious.
Material things don't matter, right?
Unless you're at the airport and they're free, I guess.
Yeah, and it's your only personal belongings that are now gone.
Yeah. Okay, but you're asking, how did I feel when I went to the plane? Can I say this? As the plane was coming over the top of Yerevan, I'm looking out the window. I've flown into quite a few cities. I'm looking out the window saying, where is everything? It's black. It's black, and there's just mountains. I don't know if you've ever flown, let's say, from Europe to America over the Atlantic. You look down around Iceland area, around Greenland area, and it's just hills, mountains, and snowy mountaintops. That's what it looked like in my head. I'm thinking to myself, where is it? Just a few fires here, a few lights here. You think, God, is this not going to be civilization when I land? And then you land into the country, and you're excited. You feel good about what's to come. You're curious. You're nervous about what's to come. Luckily, I'll tell you this too. When I landed, nobody was there to pick me up originally until I called my brother from Qatar airport. And I said, "Hey, Rafi, I'll see you in an hour." He goes, "What?"
Oh, was that a surprise?
I knew he was coming, but the people who were organizing it said he's coming tomorrow, the day after.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
They'll remain nameless, I guess, for right now. But they know who they are if they're listening.
Okay. Hey, you. Were you gonna leave this guy alone in the Armenia airport? Okay.
But anyways, when I got there, and I'm looking around, I'm feeling around, I'm thinking, this is a city. It's a beautiful city as well. Like, and I've driven around a number of cities, and we're driving around this area. And I'm looking around, I'm thinking, this is civilization. It's rural and it's raw in a lot of areas, especially right when you walk off the plane or the airport, because like when we were there's a guy that just drove over the curve and then onto the street again.
That was your first experience,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I was trying to tell you, like this is like no man's land. This is
Yeah.
I always think of Armenia as the wild, wild west. You
Yeah.
know, like there's rules, there's certain protocols that we should be following, but at the same time, you do whatever you want. You know, like
But that's beautiful.
exactly.
There's some beauty in that. Do it if you want. Drive over the. It's your car. As long as you don't hit anybody else's. But there's some beauty. And then I'll say this. Within the first couple of days, as you're walking around, as you're looking around, you're looking at the Mother Armenia Monument, or you're staring down from Cascade down to Opera, and you're thinking, wow, somebody has really put a lot of planning and time and effort into putting this city together.
Uh-huh.
And you're also thinking, wow, if I've ever been there, if I ever will go, this is probably what North Korea looks like. That's the thing. That's what.
Is that what you were
popped in my mind.
thinking?
That's what popped in my mind. Yeah. Or I'm looking at that tall statue next to Mother Armenia with the security guard that's there 24 hours a day doing what? I don't know, but I'm thinking, yeah, it's probably communism left over. That's what's in my mind, anyways.
Actually, Mother Armenia was built after the Soviet Union, and there used to be Stalin's monument there.
Very
Sure.
nice.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well.
Yeah, when it was put down, and then Mother Armenia was built there.
I like it. I feel like every time you start a sentence with "actually," you're supposed to adjust your glasses as you say it. Like,
Actually. Mr. Petrossian.
You got that wrong.
What about my question, Rafi?
I think we moved on, didn't we? Like,
No.
What
What
was-
about the questions? Okay. What are the 5 questions you'd like to ask Rafi? Or things you'd like to say but you never did before?
For the record, I mean, this is being recorded. It wasn't 5 questions to start off with, right? It was just one question at first.
No, it was few questions, okay, but more than one.
Yeah, I can ask that question. And look, correct me at any point if you feel I'm not being accurate. In an Armenian family, you're open, but you're not really open.
Right.
Not everything is on the table. There are some things that are off the table. Now, as far as Rafi and I are concerned, I know Rafi pretty well, and I probably know him better than he thinks I know him as well, and vice versa. I'm sure Rafi knows who I am, and he knows me probably a little bit better than I think he knows me.
So there are not questions like, why did you steal my teddy bear?
No.
When I was...
No. We know why I stole that teddy bear.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we'll have a little time to think. We're going on a break. Stay tuned. This is Homesick at Home, our Friday night English-speaking show. And you can also watch us live on www.radiovan.fm. Yes, we're back.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Steven. Hello, Steven.
Hello, Stephen, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah. And,
We miss you.
And yeah, we miss you. And I hope that Steven will listen to our next jingles because he's still in there, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he is. He's the main part of it.
He's the character, one of the characters.
He just doesn't know it. Yeah.
Can I ask you, Ina?
Yeah,
Does
sure.
that question really interest you? About what do I really want to ask Rafi that I've never asked him before?
I think
Yeah.
she just wants to put us on the spot right
Is that
now.
what it is? You just want to put us on the spot?
Intrigue, yeah.
I get you.
Rafi, do you have any questions to your brother?
For Armen, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm curious, you know, because I came over to Armenia almost 4 years ago, and I remember it kind of blew my mind. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect when I first came over here, and so my eyes were opened up, but over time, you know, I kind of forgot what was really special. What were my first impressions, and so. I guess you've already touched on a few of them, but what are some of the other things that you saw that really kind of blew your mind that you saw when you were over here?
The first thing that jumps out in my mind is the Versailles market. I've only seen it on a weekday, and I've been to lots of craft markets in different parts of the world, and usually the stuff they sell there is subpar or not of any interest. But you go to
what do you mean not of any interest? Like
Okay, you're gonna
women's
get
jewelry or
no. You're gonna get that little drum that you swivel back and forth and it boop, 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 boop.
right.
Nobody
Something
wants
for a
that.
2-year-old kind of
Yeah, nobody wants that. It's garbage. Or like a bracelet that says the name of the country that you go to.
I love Barcelona.
There goes my going away gift. I was getting him an I Love Armenia bracelet. All right.
The Africans who sell off the side of the street in Barcelona. Have you been there?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Versailles market, you go there, and some of the craftsmanship, the art that they have there it's amazing that they're just selling this on the side of the street for $5.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. Like you walk down that street and you think, God, because I'm looking for gifts for people when I go back home, of course. And you walk down there, you're inspired by the handmade art or the
Jazwe.
Jazza, yeah, I'm definitely got a couple of those. Or the chess set that's carved by hand. You can watch the guy painting him over there in the corner. I mean, it's amazing. So that's the first thing that I noticed that kind of blew my mind is the level of professional craftsmanship, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. You know, like it was one of those things where I meet Armenians all the time, and they're, you know, everyone is either a dancer or a singer, plays an instrument, you know, like recites poetry, things like this. I have none of those skills. I mean, like I'm envious that there's so much art and culture over here.
Yeah, and the guy who you go to another country, you get the street performers. A lot of those street performers are terrible. Or you get a guy that's put a lot of money into this costume where he stands still, you walk by, he tries to scare you. That's not here. Here you're gonna get somebody who plays the violin classically and can play professionally if they wanted to. And then you get your guy that you told me about, the electric guy outside of opera.
I love that guy.
He's good.
He's great.
Yeah.
He could be a lounge performer on a cruise ship or any one of the different areas. But they're just performing for a couple of bucks on the side of the street, whether it's just for their entertainment or because they want to share with people or they need the money. I don't know. But the level of performance, level of professionalism is amazing. It blows you away
I like it.
just on the street.
Yeah.
Thanks. Nice to hear that.
Is that a personal compliment to you, Eva?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She takes
because-
it personally.
Yeah.
Because I read poems in the street. As a lyricist, you know, Rafi, have you given Armen any hints on like, watch for the taxi drivers or be careful? You know,
Yeah, I have. I mean, I've been kind of.
what are they?
I would like to think that I'm giving that fair level of pessimism and optimism, and when I'm explaining about what's going on, for instance, I say, take a taxi, it will only cost you this much, you know, don't let him tell you it will cost any more.
Yeah, take a taxi which has a name, brand, and you know, which that is not a personal
Right.
driver.
Actually, I never say that part, because I always figure that me and Armin can always, like, fight with the guy if it doesn't work out, but just say that it's going to be this much and then walk
I haven't
away.
even taken a taxi since I've been here.
No.
Just the marshutkas. I've fallen in love.
But also, you don't take a taxi because you're walking everywhere. Tell us a little bit about, I mean, what is this love for walking everywhere, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, like I said, I was on a cruise ship for 8 years. I've been on cruise ships for about 8 years. On a cruise ship, every night you are going to be at sea or on that ship. Very, very rare, seldom do you get a day where you're going to be on land or an overnight. These are amazing when it comes to cruising. An overnight in a port. So just
I'm
to be
jealous now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't be.
it sounds great, right? But
Yeah.
like, what he just
8 years.
8 years on a boat. I mean, it sounds like paradise. He's traveling all around the world, and there's certain aspects which I'm sure are amazing. But at the same time, it sounds like it's like a jail. You're confined to this one floating barge crossing across the ocean.
Right.
You know, like
It's about perspective, though. It's about perspective. I don't see it as a jail. A lot of people, within their first month, they start to feel that way.
Really?
But it's all about perspective. Every
Yeah.
day
I think
you're in a new
everything is about
destination, you're in a new
perspective.
location. Was that?
I think everything is about perspective.
Of course. So, but back to the love of walking is, number one, exercise. I like to stay actively exercise, that whole thing. But it's, I mean, it's overused, cliche, but it's romantic to just walk at night in the streets. You're gonna feel completely safe. And you get, like you said, you're going to walk by, you're going to see a little bit of activity even at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night from this corner, that corner, and the different sounds. And I mean,
did we just add that sound right there? The sound of
Yeah.
traffic? Did you do that?
Yeah, you know.
Oh,
I
you-
have,
you- sorry,
I
you
have
could be-
everything under control.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
no,
yeah.
but that's the end. I mean, the love of walking has to do with that's how you really take in a city as well. I'm going to refer to the cruise ship again. On a cruise ship, whenever I would go to a new port, I would always rent a bicycle and ride that bicycle around the city. That's the best way to take in the city. That's the best way to get a feel for it, because you're on the ground. You see what the different neighborhoods are going to look like. You get a feel for how the city is laid out and put together. If you sit in a car and you just drive around, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the sounds, the feels, the smells.
Right.
Can
Yeah,
you
so-
tell us more about the sports? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was
Sorry,
gonna
Rocky.
say he's mentioned the cruise ship a lot, but we don't actually know the story behind the cruise ship. So I mean, what have you been doing professionally for like the last 8 years?
Okay, so I graduated from college. I'm like an accounting degree, right? I was working as an auditor. Terrible job. I wanted to shoot myself. You can blink your eye, you're gonna be 50 years old. You're gonna see that your life passed by you.
Yeah, Libras are creative. They hate that.
If there's
I
any
agree.
accountants listening,
Yeah,
kill
I was
yourself.
I was gonna say that too. I'm sorry for all the accountants and auditors listening right now.
No, it's for some people. It's not for me. But then I read a book called The Alchemist. If you haven't read that, Paulo Coelho, great book. Tells you to listen to life,
Yeah.
follow life.
That was the epiphany moment, the
that
alchemist.
one and the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh my god.
Yeah, terrible. That's where I get my advice from.
So you wanted to quit it all and just herd a bunch of goat, right, or sheep? What does he do in the alchemist?
Well, he does a number of things. But the idea is you listen to life. If an opportunity comes by, you take it. Once you've taken everything you can from that opportunity, you've learned everything you can, then you move on to something else. But the opportunity, I was an accountant by day and a DJ by night.
Oh my god.
Better than Batman.
Right.
And
You rip off the suit and they're just like what, party clothes, like gold chains,
I was going to be
everything.
more specific than that. Rip off the suit and there's a hairy chest with a gold chain. Okay, and then I had my own company. Me and my buddy, we would do high school dances. That's the lowest form of DJing. All the way up to corporate events for big companies like Microsoft and all these. And then I did an event for Holland America Line, their corporate office, because they're based out of Seattle.
Which is a cruise ship
A cruise
company.
line, yeah, cruise line. And they enjoyed me, and they said, "Well, why don't you come work on the ship? Why don't you come give the ships a try?" I said, "Beautiful, let's do it." And then I quit my job as an accountant to work as a DJ on a cruise ship, just as a working break between one firm and another job and this whole thing. I did it once. I loved it. I said, okay, to the next job I was going to go to, I said, give me another contract. Let me just play this all the way through. I did that 2, 3, 4 contracts. Eventually, I was promoted to cruise director, which means DJ, you run a nightclub, right? You host some events, but mostly you're mixing that kind of thing. Cruise director is you're the main stage, you're an entertainer, that whole deal. So I would do everything from hosting a game show like the Marriage Game, if you don't know what that is, all the way to like doing a little bit of comedy. I would warm up the crowd before main shows and this
like
kind of
stand-up
stuff.
shows.
What is the marriage game?
Marriage Game is we bring up 3 couples. I would select them from the audience. You excuse half the couple, the men or the women first.
Uh-huh.
You ask them a series of questions. You bring back the other half, ask the same questions, matching answers, score points.
How well do you know your partner? kind of
Oh,
thing?
man, yeah, that whole thing.
A marriage game?
Marriage
Okay,
games
can
was
we
fun.
do a brotherhood game? Rafi?
Leave the room.
Yeah, leave the room.
Please, yeah, I'll be back in half an hour.
Yeah,
Where are
no.
Rafi's birthmarks?
We only have half an hour left.
Rafi,
Exactly.
no, honestly, does it really make you uncomfortable to think that I would ask you like personal questions or anything like that?
No, I'm totally
This
cool
is
with
not
that.
happening at all.
You, Would you say you're a private person, Rob?
I would actually. I don't share that much.
It's true. Is that true, Anna?
Yeah, that's why we called you here tonight, because I want to know more about Rafi.
Yeah? Okay, ask him, I'll tell you.
No. Ask Rafi, please.
He beat the belly until he was 15. That's not true. I don't know.
Again, let me leave the room. And you guys can just continue.
Rafi, come back.
But actually, just to kind of divert a little bit, Ina and I, can I talk about this? What we're gonna be doing next week?
Sure.
Yeah, so next week we've partnered up with Repat Armenia, and we're going to be at Barcode, which is over there on Pushkin Street.
And you're invited.
Of course, Armen's invited, and every person listening. We were speaking to you, the people that were listening. You're all invited. And it's going to be one of those Repat events where we bring in everyone who is either diaspora, expat, or just a local person that wants to network and see what's going on, see the movers and shakers, and with the different personties that are living here in Yerevan.
Previous guests, I hope that will come.
Of course, yeah, hopefully. I mean, they were invited. We hope to see them. But one of the things Ina and I were thinking about, we're going to be the guest bartenders that night. Starts at 7 o'clock. And then we were also thinking that we'd start playing a game. And so, I mean, this is your field right now. We talked about maybe doing bingo, kind of, or pub quiz, where we come up with questions about living in Armenia. But do you have any better ideas, any good suggestions for us on how to get the crowd excited?
Yeah,
we got the right person.
Exactly, we found the right person right here across from us.
This is my career for a long time.
What do you think? Can you give us one?
Okay, it's just kind of a mixer introduction here. What a fun one is, I mean, anything from physical or just intellectual. What level do you want?
I don't know if anyone's...
Whatever, because
there's no room for slip and slide, nor what is it called?
It goes the first three.
Yeah. Or what's the other one where you have to put your finger on right hand on red square? Twister. Yeah, there's no Twister game.
So it's more like getting to know each other, maybe some stuff about names.
A fun one is this: you pair everybody off into groups. You can name it a number of different things, but you ask a question. Everybody runs. They submit their answer as a group. Whoever has the most popular answer, their group gets a point. You kind of learn about each group and how they answer. Some people go for let's try to win it. Some people go for let's see if we can get the funniest answer. The host or whoever can give points based on who has the most popular, who has the best, this kind of thing.
And how do you determine most popular? Because another group said the same thing, or we as the judges decide we both love this,
Yeah. So you can say what do you wash yourself with? 10 groups say soap. One group says vodka. You're gonna give points to everybody who said soap. Maybe you found vodka funny, so you're gonna give them an extra point.
So they get the cocktail,
right?
With vodka.
Yeah, they bathe themselves during the thing. They just pour the vodka. That sounds exactly like what's that game called? Dang, I'm gonna forget it. We'll come back to that. I don't remember what that game is called.
Speaking of events that you've done, have you cooperated with any celebrities?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. I like how it just said, of course. So, whatever, You
want to hear name? Oh, most recently, I did a Star Trek charter. You know Star Trek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had William Shatner. He was one of the guys. So
awesome.
I got to very briefly meet William Shatner. He meets 1,000 people a day. He didn't care. I got to see Kiss perform live. People that I met, like one-on-one, Rondell Sheridan. Probably name doesn't ring a bell.
Not a clue.
Yeah. He did some family show back in the 90s.
Cool.
Was Data on the Star Trek tour?
No, I didn't see Data there. But one guy, Richie Minervini. If you watch any one of the Adam Sandler movies, he's the fat guy that has a small part in almost all of them.
Huh.
He's hilarious. He does a stand-up show, and he's the sweetest guy ever too. So that's one guy I got to chit chat with. You get to realize who's a cool person, who's not a cool person, this kind of thing. But yeah.
Huh. I once saw Data at a baseball game.
Data. How do you even know it's him? The makeup probably makes him look different.
Well, that's the thing. I think either this guy had some kind of disease or he was Data, because I only saw the back of his head and it was like really shiny and yellow.
How do you tell the difference between Data and the guy from the Inferno movies or the Da Vinci Code movies?
Da Vinci. Oh, the one that killed
or Powder. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the degree of yellowness. Data was yellow, and he had hair. So.
Seems like you've traveled a lot, Armen. And can you tell us what are the most impressive things that you experienced in any country, and which
First
country was it?
First thing, whenever you say you work on a cruise ship, everybody says, "Oh, what's the best place to go?" I have pre-prepared answers. The most beautiful to go to is French Polynesia, because you're gonna go to places that only a cruise ship goes to, places you've never even heard of. Rangiroa, huh? It sounds like Jurassic Park, but it's a real place. Morea, Papayete, these remote places that very few people get to go to.
Sounds really exotic.
Yeah, and they are. And but you know what? The beaches there are very rural, untouched. I mean, it's coral, like Bora Bora. Everybody talks about Bora Bora. The beaches there suck. I mean, it's beautiful, but you walk on, it's all coral. It's going to cut your feet up. But I mean,
It needs special shoes.
but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But like you just mentioned, when everybody says, "What's the most fun place to go to?" Barcelona. Barcelona's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a place with a better nightlife than Barcelona?
No.
It doesn't exist. I mean,
Maybe.
Barcelona's a fun place. Where?
Yeah, it is. It is a fun place,
What-
and you get to get people that you don't even know. Like even immediately they become your friends and they take you somewhere.
Can I say this? We were going to the nightclub there, and I mean everybody knows everybody on a cruise ship. And somebody knows somebody important. So we were gonna get into this club. I can't even remember what it was the name of, because of the promoter. The promoter was famous in Barcelona. His name was Michael Jordan. And they called him Michael Jordan because he was the only black guy that lived in Barcelona.
Was that a nickname?
Yes.
Yeah. His real name
It's not
wasn't Michael Jordan.
Micaelo
Yeah.
Giordiano. Okay, I need to ask our music director. Are we going on a break, Mary? No? Okay. We're gonna have a little break, and then we'll have like 15 or 16 more minutes to go, so prepare your most interesting questions. Stay tuned. This is number one radio in Yerevan, 103.0.
Radio. Got it for the lonely, low, low, low.
So we just played "I'm in Love with the Cocoa." It was Armen's personal request because he loves hot chocolate.
And he just ate it. No, he just ate,
Some cocoa,
chocolate.
cacao, right? How do we pronounce that correctly? Cacao?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Chocolate. I don't know.
So Arm, you're aside from your professional career, you are also a sports enthusiast, not just watching but also participating. What kind of sports are you involved in?
Currently,
Or
just
yeah.
in the life.
general.
Okay, so first off,
The
I was
history. We want to hear the history.
we're Armenian back in the U.S., right? So of course we were put into soccer, football. Football.
We had to play football.
You advanced it. That was your sport. You were good. Me, I wasn't. I would push people. I would get aggressive and this kind of thing. This is not the sport for me. So I enrolled myself in American football. Our parents would never do it. Yeah, I enrolled myself in American football. I was 13, 14 years old, and I was good. And then that eventually advanced to me being like captain of the football team, high school. I did well, received accolades, went and played in college, and then when I was playing in college, I realized how good I wasn't. And the moment was, American football players, these people are monsters.
Yeah, like
these are the biggest, fastest, strongest people. There's a thing called the kickoff where that changes sides. To kick the ball, if you run down, you try to tackle the guy. I'm running down the field, and I'm a big guy. Now I'm 195 pounds. Then I was 230 pounds. I was a big guy.
Yeah, big dude.
I'm running down the field. I hit this guy. He looks back at me and goes, huh? He was 6'6", 300 pounds.
You just
Have
bounced
you
off
stood
him.
next to somebody that big? There are mountains. I realized, okay, this is enough for me.
So you quit?
No. I played to the end of the season. I watched everybody else play to the end of the season, and then I left. But it was a tough man competition. I don't know if you know what this means. This is amateur fighters who compete in a boxing tournament to see who's the toughest guy. The organization's name, can I say it?
Yeah, of course.
Whatever.
Man, who cares?
It was called So You Think You Can Fight Because You Think You're Tough. That's the
That's
kind
a
of
challenge.
idiots you're dealing with this thing.
Well, you're putting yourself in that same bracket.
I'm an
You
idiot.
signed up for that
I'm an
as well.
idiot. I was an idiot. What am I doing? I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
This is the thing. The winner gets $5,000. So it attracts a lot of people,
yeah,
right?
Definitely, right?
Did you get it?
Huh?
Huh?
Say
Did you
again?
get
Did I get the $5,000? No. You know why? Because $5,000 is a lot of money to a starving fighter. So this attracts professional fighters. So you would fight. It's a minute round. A minute round. Who knows who won in a minute round fight? That's nothing. That's no time. That's barely anything. So
wait, a 1 minute round and done. There's
2 1 minute rounds.
2 more. Oh wow.
But if you've ever fought, you can't do anything in 1 minute. That's just rock'em sock'em robot type of deal. But anyways, that gave me the idea of like, because I watched UFC 1 and 2, Hoist Gracie, the whole thing in the cage.
Right.
I saw that sumo guy get kicked in the face, his teeth popped out. I said, I want to do that.
You want to be the one kicking. Yeah.
Duh. I mean, who wants to be the guy getting kicked in the face? But
what was next?
Okay, but let me tell you. I got into boxing and kickboxing because back in that day, that was before the Ultimate Fighter TV show. Before that TV show, this wasn't popular. Not many people knew about it, not many people did it. And they had the idea in their head that you had to have stand-up fights, boxing, kickboxing, before you could have a cage fight. Because every fight starts on the feet. That was the philosophy. Okay? So I started kickboxing, boxing, I started training. I fought down in Los Angeles for a while. I came up to Seattle at Ring Sports. Remember that place?
Yeah, I remember.
I took you there a couple times.
Yeah.
And I was boxing out of there, and I fought for them a couple of times. Turns out I never had an actual sanctioned cage mixed martial arts fight because once I started kickboxing and boxing, I was good. I was pretty good, but because I had such a specific niche in that area, I would always go to the classes, go to the gym and train with the guys, and I would always be the guy that, go spar with Armen because he knows kickboxing, he knows stand-up, because everybody's a ground fighter, everybody's jiu-jitsu, wrestling, this kind of thing.
Right, you're saying you were that niche because you couldn't, once the fight got down into the ground, you didn't have the training to get...
I was okay. But I was much better standing up than a lot of the other MMA cage fighter guys were standing up on the feet. So I would always say I would never get time on the mat because everyone wanted to stand up and fight with me, that kind of thing.
Right.
But back to your idea of tell us about that. There is no higher high and no lower low than fighting. And my brother saw me at the lowest low when it comes to... That's straight out of the bio.
Yeah, it is.
Anyways. But my brother saw me because you remember that, Ralph.
I remember.
You remember my last fight ever.
Vividly, actually.
So it was your last fight.
Of course,
and you quit.
Well,
forever.
Let's be honest. Like that was his last organized fight, right? You still train. We know that you train and everything. And the reason it was his last fight is because he got knocked out, and it was me, my mom, grandma, like the whole family's there.
Yeah, the team.
Do not take your family to a fight.
Yeah, right.
That's
right. And so before he fought, we saw two little 12-year-olds beat the crumb out of each other, right? And then we saw two like chunky fat people. It was just like a spectacle. It was more than anything else. And then Armen's fight came along, and him and his opponent, they were pretty evenly matched. I mean, they were fighting pound to pound. They were doing really well. And then I saw Armen got like the guy kicked him in the nuts. Let's start with that, right? And so Armen's like tough. He's like, nah, it's cool. I'm fine. But we think, me and Mom, we started talking. We're like, oh, he's out of it a little bit, like that one really hit him. And then the guy connected with your chin, and then like it was one of those where he connected, and it didn't knock him out. My brother stood there for a few seconds. He stood still, and then the guy walked away, and he just fell to the ground. And so we saw him get knocked out like that, and
how your family felt in that moment.
Right. So they basically said you can't fight again.
Yeah, the pressure you feel from mother, grandmother. No.
Grandmother. Have you noticed as soon as he speaks about grandmother?
Yeah, our grandmother doesn't talk like that. Yeah. And then, because I remember in the locker room, he's post-knockout, but he's fine. He's cognizant. He knows what's going on. But then, as a regulation, the EMT or whatever medical provider is over there, he's checking him out. He's like, "I think you're fine, but I have to say you should go to the hospital." He was telling you that, and you're like, "No, I don't need to go to the ambulance. I don't need to go."
You know why Rafi tells this story?
Why?
Because I don't remember it. Can I tell you what it feels like to be knocked out in a ring? This is what it feels like. First of all, you're in a ring. Senses are heightened beyond belief. You can't imagine everything that's going on in your brain. You get tunnel vision. There's a whole story about my first wrestling match, but that's a whole different thing. But in this one, you hear the roar of the crowd, And if your opponent even touches you, in that fight,
don't
nothing
feel-
hurts.
yeah.
Nothing hurts.
Whoa!
You don't feel like you just he didn't hit me. He didn't hit me.
Adrenaline.
What? And then you feel like you need to get back because all of this sways the judges, right? And then I remember like a deep sleep. Have you ever been in a deep sleep? You wake up, you're like, where am I? Where is this place?
I wish.
I got up from this. I got up from this deep sleep, and I'm looking around. I was like, what's going on? I was like, I'm half naked. There's people cheering. I see my brother, my mom, my coach, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm in a fight. And so I stand up, and my trainer says down and down. So I take a knee for the standing 8 count.
Yeah.
I go, oh man, I'm in a fight. I wonder how I'm doing. Like I don't even know I got knocked out. And then my hands come up and I start fighting. But after you've been, it's called punch drunk. You think your hands are here protecting yourself, but they're really down here. And I just started to take a bunch of blows to the face from that point on because I thought I'm defending myself, but I'm not. Like, going back to lowest lows. You train for 2-3 months at least for each one of these fights. The time and effort you put into it is huge. And then at the end, when you lose, you've let down your family, you've let down your friends, you've let down your coach, you let down yourself.
Right.
Because it's an individual
I mean, this
sport.
is all what you carry on yourself. We don't feel that way, but of course you. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. But that's the lowest lows. But highest highs, if you high kick somebody and you drop them in front of everybody, not even like that.
Yeah,
It's,
the evil
not
laugh.
even like that.
This is Rafi's famous evil laugh now.
This is what I do in front of the mirror on a regular basis. So.
So Armen, sports, DJing, show hosting, event management, and now I know you do diamond. You're in diamond industry. So,
Yeah, so what's the next-
So wow.
Yeah, what's this last stage of your life? What are you doing
Last
now?
stage, I'm gonna die soon.
Sorry,
Next stage.
latest. What is
Yeah.
this latest stage of your?
Okay, so now I deal primarily with. I'm still on the cruise ship, but when people go into port, when people take a cruise, whenever you travel somewhere, you want to take something home with you to remember your experience, right? You want something physical to lock in that experience.
And a picture won't do.
No, pictures are boring.
Yeah.
You need to spend a couple thousand.
Let's talk about hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
Speaking of 3D memories, I think, yeah, right?
3D memory? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So now I promote or talk about everything that's available to the guests who cruise on the ship in port. Like, let's say you're in Alaska. You come to me and say, listen, I really want to take home an authentic knife for my husband. Go to this place, expect to pay this much, take this amount of discount off of it. I mean, that's kind of what I do now.
Well, when you say authentic knife, what's an authentic knife?
So in Alaska, they have something called an ulu knife. Sometimes they'll take the bone from a bear, make the handle of it. The blade is curved. They call it the best pizza cutter you'll ever buy.
Because that's how the Alaskans were using it, right? Making pizzas.
Yes. Yeah, Alaska pizza. Have you ever had it?
No, I haven't.
It's a little cold.
Yeah.
Hey-oh!
And the entertainer comes through.
I didn't say that. I feel embarrassed when I said that. I do feel embarrassed.
So is your personality and everyday life as changeful as your career?
It fluctuates.
You call me crazy?
No.
Yeah.
Well, for one, let's start off by saying Ina loves the astrological signs,
Yeah.
right? And so when I sent Armen's bio today, she saw that she read it and she's like, "When's Armen's birthday?"
Yeah.
You know. And so I sent it over, and what was it?
It was Libra.
He's a Libra.
Yeah, and I said I knew that. I totally knew it.
Right. And so part of the characteristic of a Libra is what? Someone that always needs change or needs different thing in their life?
new impressions.
Thanks a lot. Good luck me getting a girlfriend now on Yerevan.
Well, you know what? I'm a Libra too, so I know how that feels.
Okay.
I understand you.
There you go.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
This is the last question of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Armen doesn't have a girlfriend, so if you want to contact him, is 09.
Do you really have my number?
Do you really want to announce it on the
I
air?
don't even know how to use the phone.
Okay, is there something that you would like to tell us, or?
Your final thoughts. What have you got?
final.
We're about to close down now.
So how was it? Did you enjoy it tonight? Because we did.
Yeah,
I
it was
did.
great.
It's a fun experience. I mean, to be honest, final thoughts is, I'm proud of my brother. I'm proud of my brother.
Thank you.
You're doing what you want to do in life, and you're successful at it.
Well,
And I'm proud of you for that, man. So for me, it's just a pleasure to be here, to be with you, and to watch you do what you do in your element. It makes me proud. It makes me happy.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. I'm glad we're able to reconnect, and we're able to do it on live radio.
Yeah, but it makes it even better. I mean, live radio, Yerevan. I mean, the whole deal. It's all come together. The planets have aligned.
And
Yeah.
you know what? I feel so good to be a part of this reunion thing. Yeah, it's.
Nina, we're talking. Would you give us a second?
I mean, I'm so glad that Armenia was something to connect you guys again, reconnect or something. So it feels really good, and I hope that you find really what you were looking for here, and I hope that you spend a really good time. Thanks for being in our studio tonight.
Yeah, and if you were loving everything Armen had to say, you want to meet him in person, come down to Barcode.
Yeah, on the 22nd.
On the 22nd, and he will be there. We'll
Starting
all be
from
there.
7 p.m.
Right.
Have a great weekend, y'all, and have a great Friday night. This was Homesick at Home on Radio Van.